Are twin flames a real or a justified obsession? An unbiased look at the most popular twin flame theory. From the moment you saw this person, you felt a sense of familiarity and magnetic attraction. The more you know about them, the more similarities you will discover. It's amazing how they share your weaknesses, and it's like you've met your mirror image. Driven by the uniqueness of this encounter, they seek answers. Here's how you find it. Twin flame theory. It's a concept you've never heard of, but it describes everything you're going through, like soulmates. You know it sounds ridiculous, but a part of you wonders if it could be true. After all, this is unlike anything you've ever experienced before. The problem is, twin flames is such a divisive topic, and it's hard to get an unbiased opinion. If you search online, you will find forum posts written by people who seem downright obsessed and websites claiming to be experts who conveniently sell readings and books on the subject. On the contrary, you will see legions of critics who have no time for soulmate ideas or spiritual development. For them, it is nothing more than an obsession and an excuse to ignore the rejection. So, what should we think about? This video is for anyone who is unsure of their position and wants to hear both sides of the argument. As someone who understands dating psychology and has been through this experience, I can bridge the gap for people who don't know what to believe. I'll cover key insights and ideas for you to consider right now. In the end, you will have a deep understanding of what is going on and feel much more comfortable deciding what to believe in. Stay until the end of the video to discover more about the differences of limerence and twin flame. Are you justifying your obsession, or is this your spiritual awakening? Let's find out. What are twin flames? Before getting into my core arguments, it's worth briefly reviewing the basics of twin flames, so we're all on the same page. Twin flames are two souls that were once one and the same energy of consciousness. They represent two parts of the same original consciousness that chose to split into two to experience the nature of duality, expand learning and the evolution of understanding, and ultimately reunite through love. According to this popular twin flame resource, the purpose of relationship is to help us shed our ego, heal our wounded hearts, and transform ourselves into spiritually awakened beings. The attraction between you is said to be irresistible, magnetic, and intense because you are cut from the same energetic fabric. Many say that your first meeting will trigger feelings of appreciation because you are looking at a lost part of yourself. It is also believed that each couple will have a higher purpose to accomplish together, usually in the form of some humanitarian effort. Interestingly, conflict is a main feature of the entire experience. A central component of the theory is the idea of runners and hunters. One person is thought to be the divine masculine, runner, and the other the divine feminine, pursuer. The premise here is that the broker will avoid connection as he is less mature, while the more developed pursuer sees the true nature of his experience. Most sites suggest that these roles can change, and the process will only stop when both people realize they can't control everything. Let's take a look at how this concept can be viewed from two different perspectives. The cynical and the spiritual. The cynical view, it's just limerence. Naturally, cynics are quick to dismantle the validity of the twin flames. There are some valid reasons why people take this point of view. You don't need to look beyond twin flame threads on social media. It won't take long for you to be amazed by the amount and content of the stories of people from all over the world. You will read about people who have put life on hold and have waited decades for their supposed twin to acknowledge their feelings, despite being married and having children. You will even see cases where people genuinely believe that they met the other half of their soul online, despite living without meeting them in person. Add to that the myriad of people's rationalizations of why someone doesn't want to be with them, and you can quickly build a picture of the fantasies many are living in. In truth, it is quite possible that many people do not meet with the other half of their soul, but with a psychological state called limerence. Limerence was first introduced in the 1960s by psychologist Dorothy Tenove in her book, Love and Limerence: The Experience of Being in Love. She defined limerence as the cognitive and emotional state of being in love or obsessed with another person, which is involuntary and is characterized by a desire to reciprocate one's own feelings. There are 5 aspects of this condition. 1. Obsessively thinking of another person, leading to the inability to concentrate on daily activities without drawing attention to them. 2. A primary desire for reciprocity of feelings rather than a sexual relationship or intimacy. 3. A focus on winning over the person rather than his happiness or well-being. 4. Compulsively read the behavior of the person and draw conclusions. 5. Refusing to take no for an answer, including viewing rejection as a challenge to overcome as nothing can deter them. If you want to subscribe to my channel, you will receive more videos like this. Let's continue. Tenov's research in the 1970s found a surprisingly high number of people who experienced limerence symptoms, including a man who maintained a 9-year obsession with a coworker. He had filled out 40 notebooks and several thousand audio cassettes with details of how he looked, if he was smiling or talking to him, and other minute details that only he could appreciate. His distraction led to poor job performance, several demotions, and eventual dismissal. When I look at some of the stories of those who claim to be experiencing the twin flame journey, I can see similarities to Limerence's condition. By looking at the cases objectively, we can find evidence of each of the symptoms in the behavior of people who believe in twin flames, like the following 5 behaviors. 1. They are often obsessed with the person they consider their twin, unable to focus on anything else. 2. The focus is more on that person reciprocating the feelings by acknowledging that there is a divine connection between them. 3. There is often an in-depth analysis of the reasons the person knows he is her twin, including a detailed analysis of behaviors and signs such as alleged synchronous telepathy. 4. The believer is generally obsessed with what he wants from this individual rather than whether that person is happy. 5. In many cases, the person refuses to accept the rejection because they believes that his twin is running away from his true feelings. The condition is dangerous because, as Tenov's research shows, it can last for years. The romantic and spiritual overtones of the theory make it incredibly effective at consuming someone's psyche. We love the idea of destiny and romance. It fits with our ideals that there is someone out there for us. Moving on can be extremely difficult when we think we met one, and the basis of the twin flame movement is that this fight between runner and chaser is inevitable. The danger here is that it is easy to get attached to an individual and justify it as a destination or part of the journey. When it comes to the cynical view, there is a strong argument that most people who think they are in a twin flame encounter are simply experiencing limerence. There are too many stories that go into minute detail of tiny behaviors and extraordinary claims of telepathy without validation. For example, I know how you feel because your soul speaks to me. I am completely in favor of romance, but I cannot ignore the possibility that it is simply limerence. At this stage, the question for you is, are you experiencing any of the symptoms listed above? If so, it may be time to reassess what you are thinking and take a break. There is no shame in suffering from this condition. Tenov's research showed that many more people had experienced limerence than we thought. It takes immense courage to distance yourself from emotions and admit when you've lost control. Be strong and honest with yourself, no one knows you better. Spiritual vision, at least one opportunity for growth. While there is a genuine possibility that a person is simply suffering from this psychological state, I don't think it's fair to completely discredit the idea of twin flames. There is something to be said about the fact that so many people report the same experience. The stories of alleged twin flame encounters are eerily similar. I see the same words that are used repeatedly to describe encounters: magnetic, irresistible, a sense of recognition, and many people don't know what twin flames are until an unforgettable meeting caused them to search for answers. The only reason I know about twin flames is that I had a situation that left me confused and in need of clarity. That comes from a person who has been in multiple relationships and knows what infatuation is. It was unique, and I soon discovered that the words I mentioned earlier for magnetic and recognition were synonymous with this theory. What this might suggest is that what is happening is real as it triggers something within you. Most of these stories involve a person bringing up the emotional baggage and insecurities that have plagued them for years. It's hard to overlook this constant pattern of people having a crazy moment that has the potential to heal past injuries. Anyone who considers himself to be part of the twin flame journey has an opportunity for personal growth, regardless of whether the mirror soul exists or not. Let's not neglect the truth either: none of us knows what is possible. No one can say for sure why we are here or what happens after we die. Likewise, it is impossible to prove or disprove past lives or the existence of souls. It may not make sense to some, but to others, there is no reason not to believe. While many are quick to take science as a barometer of truth, I prefer to be cautious. Yes, it is a field we trust, but there is also a lot to be said about intuition and faith. Deception or spiritual awakening? It's up to you. Ultimately, it is your choice what you believe in any area of life. With that said, I want to leave you some thoughts to consider when thinking about twin flames. Two things are clear. Many people who believe in twin flames become obsessed and show signs of limerence. Many of the situations that people describe as twin flame trips represent opportunities to grow and heal past emotional baggage. The existence or validity of twin flames is not as important as progressing yourself. Avoid getting sucked into limerence's fantasy and focus on what you can control. Share this video with someone you know who needs this information. Watch this next video that will also interest you: twin flame soul recognition.